Someone tagged me on Twitter with a video made by YouTuber D-Batch. The title of his video is Xbox hardware is dead. Xbox has a hardware problem. Next Xbox is the last Xbox console. These are three claims. Claim number one, Xbox hardware is dead. Claim number two, Xbox has a hardware problem. And claim number three, Xbox is the last console. I've also invited a friend of ours, Darkfield, to join us on responding or reacting to this video's proposition. Darkfield, say hi. All right.
Hello, this is D, and I'm back with another video, and today we're going to talk about the death of Xbox hardware. No, this is not clickbait. We got a lot of information in today's video that will kind of signal that Microsoft is slowly bowing out of the hardware market.
Don't you just like how everybody gives a caveat that this is not clickbait? I don't understand exactly why that's actually a thing when they do it. It's because Dreamcast Guy has made many videos about Xbox being dead. Oh, Darkfield, you choose to talk. So you mean because Dreamcast Guy and maybe some other people are making these videos? Obviously. Okay.
At least a traditional console version of it. Now, I've been saying this for quite some time that Microsoft putting their exclusives on every device is going to erode at the value of an Xbox console. If you can get your Xbox games on PC, if you can get them on PlayStation, if you can get them on Switch, it is less of a reason to own an Xbox.
How does that make sense? PlayStation puts their games on PC. Wouldn't that devalue their system? Well, Darkfield, what you got to understand is PlayStation fanboys usually would, make this analogy for Xbox and add full third-party publisher to Xbox, but somehow it doesn't really devalue the PlayStation in many cases. Or they pretend like PlayStation doesn't really put their games on PC, or they say it's not D and date. So that's kind of something that, we've had to deal with all this while. Sounds like the Joker. I won't say that. Maybe, someone who likes to shift the goalposts, the Riddler. No. I said the Joker. All right, whatever you say, Darkfield.
Now, Xbox, it's not going to have the PlayStation games, so that's not an advantage for them. It's not going to have the Switch games. It's just going to have the Xbox games.
Isn't the Xbox Ally X an Xbox? Yes, it is. It is an Xbox. Doesn't he know that? I don't know. He might. Well, did you not show him the GPU categorizations? I don't think so. Do you think I should? VG, you're wasting my time. All right, I'm going to go straight to the point, Darkfield. So what I want to go ahead and quickly do, because Darkfield is losing his patience and he's got to get out there and fight crime, is I want to go ahead and show y'all a picture that I put up here to ask a question. Actually, I put a number of pictures. This picture is a gigabyte GPU from AMD, and I asked if it's a gigabyte GPU or an AMD GPU, and the other one I asked was an Asus 4090 GPU and an NVIDIA Founders Edition 4090, and I asked the question, which one of these is a 4090? To that effect, I'm trying to basically make this whole thing that just because Asus is making a console for Xbox does not make it a console. What's even crazy is D-Batch put a small video of his 5090 build on Twitter. And do you know what I found out? I found out that he also has an Asus 5090 inside of his GPU. But if you ask D-Batch, is that an NVIDIA GPU inside of his PC? He's probably going to say it is an NVIDIA GPU. But he's going to sit there and make a whole video now, which I've spoiled for you guys, about how the Asus Xbox Ally X is not an Xbox. Is that what you wanted, Darkfield? Yes. Now I gotta go. Poof. All right, Darkfield's gone. Let's get back to D-Batch's video, and then let's see what's going on.
Where these other platforms will have their exclusives and the Xbox games, which, if you use common sense, makes the Xbox console less desirable for gaming. Now, we have this argument that the next Xbox, because it's a hybrid, so it's basically a PC that has an Xbox UI and Xbox skin, it will allow you to play backwards compatible titles. AMD is going to put a custom chip in there that will allow you to play your older games. So that is one little advantage for that device. However, it is still a PC at its core. That's why it plays Steam games. That's why it plays the Epic Store games. That's why it plays EA PC games.
Wait, hold on. So it's a PC at its core, but it is a console, right? And the manufacturer of the console has chosen to use a different operating system, right? So what's the problem with that? When the PlayStation 3 tweaked its operating system, nobody said anything, right? But Xbox has always been built on Windows. So now that they're going full Windows, some people now want to go ahead and create some kind of a chasm.
Now, I also believe that Xbox games that are on that next console, they're not going to be optimized.
You believe it, but have you seen it? Have you played it? Have you experienced it? Have you tried it? Have you tested it?
Because they're just going to release the PC version. Now, when developers optimize their games, you can get crazy results.
D-Batch, I didn't know you have seen developers optimize games before. Huh? Or are you talking about the results of good optimization?
Example being a lot of exclusives on PlayStation. Some of those games, the graphic fidelity has no business being on a PlayStation 5 console. Yet,
and
with the custom optimizations, we're getting some games that graphically are even better at times than what we're getting on PC.
All right, let me go ahead and basically blow that claim out of the water. Just give me a second here. 2 years ago, when Digital Foundry did their review of the PC version of Marvel Spider-Man 2018, here is the conclusion of what they actually stated about the PC version of the game.
Now, beyond that negative note, I want to positively say, though, that Spider-Man overall on PC is good. It scales really high in meaningful ways above the console version. It offers a great user experience in terms of features and menus, and for my money, I think it has the best RT graphical options we've seen in a AAA game. You have a lot of settings to customize RT, and I think almost every game should do that.
But D-Batch, who will tell you that he's a PC gamer, is somehow not wanting to cite this particular reality and this notion when they say, oh, you're just going to get the PC version like it's some scary tactic. Do you want to hear what Digital Foundry's conclusion about God of War 2018 on PC was? Here it is. I'll play it for you.
So that is it in the end. God of War on PC is in general a spectacular version of the game, offering meaningful graphical options that scale wonderfully above the PlayStation version of this game. Performance on the GPU is generally very, very good, but CPU performance is a bit rough at times when loading new areas. That is something I would really love to see improved in patches.
So you mean to tell me that all this attempted fear-mongering that these folk are doing, you're just going to get the PC version, it's unoptimized. You mean to tell me that it's just them just trying to gaslight you to make it seem like it's some weird thing? Because we know that when the developers and the studios that are doing the ports or whatever it is actually do their job, you get yourself a pristine game every single time. But look at the way he said this. I believe it'll be unoptimized. What? Did you just hear what he said? He believes it. When most of these developers can clean up their games if given the amount of time that they need, obviously, looking at Starfield going to 60 FPS, looking at Gotham Knights maintaining stable frame rates after launch, and majority of these games, in fact, some of them after DLC, when more content's been added. The developers find time after getting in some sales because the publisher pushes this thing out to go ahead and clean up their game. So D-Batch, you have to let us know, sir, that this is a developer-specific thing. And developers are looking for ways to sell their games, so they're optimizing much better than they did years ago. CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk 2077 running on the Nintendo Switch 2 is already your proof that these guys need that money. Let's keep playing.
Now, this is not going to be the case with the next Xbox console, in my honest opinion, because they're not going to optimize any games, because they're just going to be building them for PC.
So they don't optimize PC games for handhelds. D-Batch, why don't you tell anybody that the Steam Deck Game of the Year, right? Why not just tell anybody that the Steam Deck Game of the Year was a PlayStation game last year? Why don't you just tell them? Here it is. Best Game on Steam Deck Award. God of War Ragnarok. Why don't you just go ahead and just say that? Are you trying to build a case that's based on your own opinion? Or are you coming out with the factual analysis that is actually here? I'm just asking.
Now, I've said once again that this is kind of the end of the Xbox console.
Based on what?
I believe a lot of gamers are not going to buy that next generation so-called hybrid console.
Huh? You bought a 5090. I thought a lot of people weren't going to buy a 5090. I was wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. Congratulations. Great. Power uplift. But I was wrong when I thought that, no one's going to buy this device, man. People bought it.
It having Steam is not a benefit to that console.
How do you mean having Steam is not a benefit to the console? Are you going to back up anything that you say, sir?
Because why would you buy Xbox games? You would just buy Steam games.
Okay. Xbox sells games on Steam and has been doing so since 2016 as day one purchases. And in them doing that, they've been able to go ahead and make tons and tons of money, as we see in the Steam best sales in the top 100 games since 2020, going all the way through 2024. And I'm not talking about Bethesda titles. No, I'm talking about Xbox titles like Sea of Thieves in the gold category of top selling games. Halo Master Chief Collection, Flight Simulator. Sega Channel was talking on Twitter, a big ramble. Once I poured this data dump on his head, he ran away. He has not replied me for 2 days now and has still been console warring. And I've been asking him, and it's going to seem like I'm, trolling him at some point. But I'm like, bro, I really want to know where you're getting this talk that putting Steam on this particular console is not going to benefit Xbox because people are going to go ahead and just buy the Steam version. They've been buying the Steam version, obviously. So Xbox is like, we might as well give them more reasons to buy this 70% giving, profit-bringing Steam versions of the game. Are people going to just come out here and talk about this stuff without citing the pertinent data? This is 2021. Sea of Thieves. Where is Grounded? Grounded, you're here somewhere. Maybe you're in 2022. I can't remember. Where you at? 2020 Halo Master Chief Collection. There you are. Who else is there? There's one of you. One of you is always hiding. Age of Empires. You're always sneakishly hiding somewhere. Every year you were showing up. Oh, look, EA Play was also a high seller. And Days Gone in the bronze category. Congratulations to PlayStation. Age of Empires. There you go. People buying the Steam version of Age of Empires and buying it and putting it in the silver category, in the same category that you had Halo Infinite, Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition, right? The same year. Outriders, Path of Exile, that same year. Really? It's not going to be a benefit to Xbox? You haven't assessed your claims, but it's okay. Or maybe you have, and maybe you just didn't see this part. Perhaps, maybe you should take a look at it. Oh, sorry, I thought I was the 2021. Before they say, oh, you didn't do the next 2 years. 2022, how about 2022? 2022, there we go. What are we looking at? Forza 5. Ooh. God of War, one of my favorites, man. I recommend heavily. Play that bad boy. Play it. Some people said they were bored about it. I have to pretend I never said that. What's that? Sea of Thieves? Ooh, devalued the Xbox brand. Devalue, baby. Forza 4. Grounded. There you are. I knew you were here somewhere. Yeah. Age of Empires. This is why these PlayStation fanboys are running. This is why they don't want to have this conversation about PC. They will not deal with the data.
Why would PC gamers come over and get that Xbox? Because they're enjoying those games on PC right now.
They'll come over and get that Xbox because, number one, they have Xbox Game Pass. Some of them, they're seeing increases on Xbox Game Pass. And the handheld is not going to stop them from accessing their other libraries. Come on, man. Come on, guys. Let's do this. Let's apply the pertinent. You're a PC guy, right? You got yourself a PC. You understand the PC ecosystem, D-Batch, don't you? I mean, obviously, right? Come on now. You can do this, bro. I'm rooting for you. Get it. Get that. You know, I got a handheld, right, that Xbox is making with Asus, right? It doesn't lock me into the Xbox ecosystem. It gives me everything that I have and even the things that they're giving me all in one package. I'm a PC guy. It's more powerful than the one that came before it from Asus. It's got ergonomics and aesthetics from what I saw on Linus's Tech's video, because PC gamers watch Linus's Tech's videos. I think it's a valid proposition. Now, let me just see what the price is, and I'll assess if I want that handheld or not. Did you ask yourself the question as a PC gamer? D-Batch, ask yourself. You're a PC guy. You should address these things from that perspective to be able to get a clear vision. Don't worry about the PlayStation fanboy side. The PlayStation fanboy has no business on PC. You don't bought a 5090, so welcome to enthusiast. Now think and address this like a PC enthusiast. And right now, I'm not seeing that PC enthusiast coming out of you, because a PC enthusiast is a value proposition maniac, but on a high expensive tier. Don't be fooled. Just because a PC enthusiast is spending a lot of money on their gear, it doesn't mean that they're not looking at the value proposition. In fact, they've looked at the value proposition and went straight to the top of the tier and said, this is what I want, and I can afford it, and I bought it. D-Batch, behave accordingly.
There's no advantage for those gamers to come over to the next Xbox hybrid PC.
Well, it has Game Pass. I just said that, didn't I? And if they don't use Game Pass, it's more powerful than the Rogue Ally X and has their good old games and everything else, as shown that the Rogue Ally X can offer you, which is a better proposition than the Steam Deck. More expensive, but I have the Steam Deck. And the reason I went for the Ally X is because I could carry all my libraries with me. That is not an advantage. I don't understand.
Backwards compatible titles, they're not going to care about that because they already have their catalog of games on Steam.
The Xbox gamer cares about that. Is the Xbox Ally X trying to bridge the gap between PC gaming and console gaming? An interesting set of all right.
Now, I think it is good that you're allowing gamers to play their backwards compatible titles on the new console. I don't want to say that's not a good thing. But I don't think it's a huge selling point. Let's just be...
So it's not a huge selling point for a hardware device, but it's not a huge selling point, but it is a selling point. What is the selling point for the PlayStation Portal? What is the selling point for the MSI Claw? What is the selling point for the Steam Deck? Right? What are their selling points? So far, what you've done is you've shown why this device is a better device than majority of these other devices if it were to appeal to either a PC gamer or an Xbox gamer. Just because you didn't say what these devices were capable of doing doesn't mean that we don't know. We know, but it seems like you may be trying to provide a shortened version of the new Xbox Ally X. It's unfair. It's called Xbox tax.
Honest, how many of our old games do we actually play?
A PC gamer just asked that question? Oh! Okay. I just squealed. Guys, I'm done with this video, man. That's the end of the video. I am not going to make any single comment on this video again. I'm just going to end the video here. That's all I'm going to do. I'm just leave. Okay? I'm not saying anything else. I'm out.